Hi, I'm Brianna.
And I'm Akira.
And you're watching
Dontae's Boxing Nation.
Brothers and sisters! Brothers and sisters! I don't know what this world is coming to.
Hey yo, check this out, this is Flavor Flav. And if you want the whole truth and nothing but the whole truth, so help the whole truth. Hey yo, you better listen to Dontae, baby. Dontae!
What's going on, guys, and welcome to another great edition of the Dontae's Boxing Nation show. I am your host, Dontae, and we have another great show for you guys as always. Now, before we get into the boxing talk, I want to go ahead and let you guys know the documentary, it's on its way, it's coming out. You know, a lot of you guys keep asking me when it's coming out. I'm putting a lot of work into it. You know, we're trying to take this documentary to the next level. It's going to be one of the best boxing documentaries you guys have ever seen. It's #1 in the nation. That's the name of the documentary. And I'll probably drop the trailer at the end of this show if you guys haven't already seen it. Okay? Now, also, I want to let you guys know we are going to be out in Oakland, California for the Ward versus Barrera fight. And when I say we, I'm talking about me, Dontae's Boxing Nation, and your boy Boxing Ego. We'll both be out there. So come hang out with us, you know, say what's up to us, show us some love. All right, now let me go ahead and introduce the panel as always. Let me start with my man in the studio that's always on the ones and twos, DJ George. What's up, man?
Rocking it out.
All right, and now let me go ahead and introduce the panel, man. I got my man Boxing Ego. Y'all already know who he is. Check out his website. He has a real nice website. It's growing real fast. It's boxingego.com. All right, and I got my girl Miss Boxing Baby. Check out her YouTube channel as well. It's Miss Boxing Baby. You know, also go to my website. Check out my website. Just dropped an article on this Ward versus Barrera fight. It's nationboxing.com. All right. Now we also have a guest in the studio. This man, he hit me up at the Mayweather gym. Told me he was a subscriber, and you know he's been following what we've been doing, showing love. You know, so he asked me. He said, "Man, how can I get on the show?" I said, "Man, you could get on the show tomorrow." So here he is, man. My man Town Bizznizz Js is in the building. What's going on, man? Welcome to the show.
What up, y'all? This Town Bizznizz Js, man. What's going on, y'all? Bay Area in the building.
That's what it is, man. Welcome to the show. Welcome to Vegas, man. You liking Vegas? You like the experience being at the Mayweather gym or what?
Yeah, man, I come here a lot, man. I come here like 3 times a year. I always visit the Mayweather gym. I'm a big boxing fan. So, you know, I've been trying to catch you, man, but I couldn't catch you, man. So I finally caught you yesterday, man. I've been trying to holler at you, man, but it was cool seeing you, man, and chopping it up with you, man. But, yeah, man, I'm a big boxing fan. So, man, I'm always visit the Mayweather gym as long as I come to Vegas. Only thing I hate about Vegas, you always go over budget. You say you have a certain amount you go spend. Yeah. And I didn't spend like $1,500 since I've been here, man. If the casinos don't get you, the walls will.
Yeah, real talk. But you know, you doing pretty good staying away from the strip because you didn't go to the strip, right?
Nah.
Okay, yeah, because you would mess around and be homeless. You know, you'd be standing in the middle of the highway with a cardboard sign.
Well, I'll be a little honest, man. I gambled a little bit, man. I won some gas money, man. I won like $50 out of Circus, so that's gonna be enough to get me back to Oakland.
That's what it is. Shit, with gas prices today, shoot, man, under $2. So yeah, that's what it is, man. So and also my man Town, you gonna be out there, you know, at the fight as well. You already told me you gonna help me out. You know what I'm saying, when it come to getting these shirts out and slanging them out there. You know, so check out Town Bizznizz, who's gonna be at the fight as well, man.
Yeah, man. Right? I'll be there, man, with a couple of goons. So you know, we got Dontae and Ego's back, man. So there will be protection, man. So you know, don't even think about it. It's all good though. But y'all come out, get some of these T-shirts, man. So March 26th.
I appreciate it, and you know, don't take it the wrong way. But we don't need no protection, but the additional protection is all good. So I appreciate the love.
Yeah, all good, man.
Yeah, they come up, you know what I'm saying, and they definitely show love. We don't never see none of these decals, the crazy stuff they be talking about on the internet. They don't never say none of that when they see us in person.
Oh yeah, I know.
So
I get it a lot too on my channel.
Yeah, but like I said, I appreciate the love, man. So anyway, let's get into it, man. You know what? Let's go ahead and start start with this news with Carl Frampton. Your boy Al Heyman at Showtime, they really raising the bar right now. You know, they just released the spring lineup, whole bunch of fights coming out on PBC and on Showtime. But I want to talk about this Carl Frampton situation because basically Carl Frampton, he was ordered to either give up. He was. Okay, hold on for a second. We just got somebody calling in. Who's that right there?
Hey guys, it's Kevin. I have Algieri here.
Finally pulled in. Okay, I appreciate you guys calling in. Yeah, we almost started without you guys. Actually, we did start without you guys. So let's go ahead and welcome. Let me give you a proper introduction. Ladies and gentlemen, I want to go ahead and introduce this man. This man right here is facing Errol Spence on April 16th at the Barclays Center in New York on PBC. Ladies and gentlemen, the former WBO junior welterweight champion, Chris Algieri, is in the building on the phone. What's going on, Chris?
What's going on, Dontae? Thanks for having me, brother.
Hey, man. Thanks for popping in, man. I always appreciate it, man. I know you're busy out there working hard, man, so I always appreciate it, man. So
my pleasure, man. My pleasure. Always good to be on with you.
All day, man. Thanks, man. So let me go ahead and start it off, man. I want to basically ask you, man, do you think you've become a better fighter since the Pacquiao fight? And if so, how have you become better?
I mean, absolutely. I think even with the Pacquiao fight, I didn't really get to show what I really got. You know, that kind of happens sometimes when you fight guys like that. But you know, I definitely think I've improved since then, and I've been showing it here, in each fight since then, and you know, just adding some new folds to the game.
Okay, that's what it is. And how would you compare Errol Spence to everyone else you faced? I mean, you've been in the ring with Pacquiao, Ruslan Provodnikov, Amir Khan. How do you compare them?
You know, it's kind of hard to say. I haven't been in the ring with him yet. You know, so it's hard to kind of compare him with the other guys that I have been in the ring with. Also, I haven't really seen him fight the caliber of guys where you can really see what a guy's made out of.
Mm-hmm. And it's
hard to tell to compare him with any of those other top guys.
And it's interesting you just said that because that was kind of leading into my next question. You haven't really seen him in the ring with, you know, a certain level of opposition. Why is it, even though he hasn't really been in the ring with big-name fighters, you have so many fighters that are unwilling to get in the ring with him, like you were one of the only fighters that was willing to get in the ring with him. Why do you think that is, Chris?
You know, I don't know. I can't answer for other fighters. I don't understand how, when fights come up, you don't take them. You know, I've never been that kind of guy. You know, if a fight is an opportunity is presented to me, I've always taken the fight. I've been in with a lot of guys that people didn't want to fight. You know, I don't pick fights. So if the fight's there, you know, I'll fight. But like you said, I don't know, you know, why other guys won't get in the ring with him. You know, if the guy hasn't fought anybody yet, you know, being in the sparring gym is very different from being under the lights on fight night.
Okay. And if you win this fight, because they said if Errol Spence, if he wins this fight, he'll become the #1 mandatory for Kell Brook. What about you? Will you become Kell Brook's next opponent if you were to win this fight?
I would assume so. If he's up for it, I don't know why I wouldn't be.
Yeah, because they said it was. Do you know where you're ranked in the WBO rankings?
I do not know. I don't know. I don't really focus too much on the rankings. I just beat the guys in front of me, and good things happen then.
Yeah, and speaking of beating guys, man, you were really impressive in that last fight against Eric Bonet, man. It looks like you stepped your power game up, man, and you're fighting more on the inside. Is that you know, because of working with John David Jackson, or do you attribute that to him, or what?
You know, the power's always been there. John's just been able to kind of get it out of me a little more and putting me in the positions to let that go. I'm a physically strong guy. I just haven't been able to transition a lot of that into punching power until recently. And I think a lot of that has come from, you know, the work with John, getting me to settle down, allowing me to kind of use my natural attributes, and really just like unleashing what I got in me. So it's definitely been a fruitful marriage so far with John. And you know, this is only the beginning. We got a lot more fights that, you know, under you know, with each other moving forward. And you know, I'm looking forward to what's going to transpire.
Mm-hmm. What are the keys to victory? Go ahead, Ego. Go ahead, Ego.
No, because you can go.
What are the keys to victory, Chris?
In this fight, I got to give him some looks. I got to give him some things that he's not used to seeing in the ring. I really got to utilize all my skills. I bring a lot of different looks to the ring every time out, and especially people have seen that in the last half dozen fights. I've been damn near a different guy each time out. So I think if I can mix those styles and give him a lot of different looks and not exactly know where I'm coming from, I think it'll be a very difficult and long night for him.
Okay. Go ahead, E.
Now, I just had a quick question. It looks like you've definitely been gelling with John David Jackson. You have experience with Amir Khan. You have a degree. Shout out to Chris Algieri. If you're looking for healthy meals, go look at his Instagram. He always posting stuff that looks delicious.
Some delicious stuff. Yeah, I see it.
Yeah, it always looks good. But you've been in there with Khan. You have a degree in fitness. How do you assess the Canelo-Khan fight, since you have experience with him and you just know about the fitness world and moving up in weight and things like that?
Absolutely. Funny thing is, I've actually been in the ring with both those guys. I sparred with Canelo years back. He was still undefeated at the time. It was before the Mayweather fight. But and from being in the ring with both of those guys, I see it's going to be a very, very difficult night for Khan. Canelo is not only just a much bigger guy, but he's also super sharp. He's a good fighter. He's not just a bigger man. He's also got a very difficult style that I think would be tough for Khan, even if they were the same size. So stylistically, I don't love the matchup, and just physically, it's a really uphill battle for him.
And what advice would you give for him moving up in weight? How do you do it successfully? What's the best course of action?
I would say really not to really try and put on too much size. Khan's all about using his speed. He's going to need to be in phenomenal shape for this fight. He's got to be able to move on his feet. That extra weight's not going to help him there. He's going to need very strong legs, and he needs to be very light on his feet. Keep moving, keep boxing, fight from the outside, fire those fast combinations, and keep cutting angles. Canelo needs to be set to throw those power punch combinations that he's really known for. If he can keep him long, keep him on the end of his jab and the end of his long combinations, that's really the key to victory for Khan. And when it comes to what he needs to be doing between now and then, like I said, not gaining too much weight. A lot of times when guys move up, they try and pack on this muscle, and it changes your style. He's got to stick with what works for him, and that's going to be the boxer in this fight. Stay light, stay fast, and be in unbelievable shape.
Mm-hmm. And let me ask you, Chris, how did negotiations for this fight go? Were there any major roadblocks? Anything that you were unhappy with when it comes to this deal being made with Errol Spence?
It's the roadblock is the roadblock that a lot of fighters come in contact with, is that they don't have all the information. They don't have all the information going into a fight about how much money is involved, how much I'm getting as opposed to what my promoter is taking. And it's just not fair. I should know. I should be privy to this information at this point in my career. And so that was a lot. And it's still an issue, honestly.
So, I got to ask the question. So, did you ever find out how much money you were actually making now, or what?
No, I know what I'm making, but I wanted to know how much was involved in the pot. I don't want to, I wanted to know how much it was going to my side in terms of my promoter and myself, and the percentage split for that.
Mm-hmm.
At the end of a fight night, I can't imagine, my promoter can be making more money than me. I'm the one who's in the ring fighting. I'm the one that people are coming to see fight. People don't buy tickets to watch promoters write contracts or to negotiate. They pay to see the fighters fight. Fighters should be getting the majority of the money. Simple as that.
Yeah, you're definitely in the ring. So is this an issue or a problem that you've been having pretty much since you've been boxing in your professional career, or is this something that just recently, started to come to your attention?
Yeah, this is not a new problem, but it's something that's been coming to my knowledge. In the beginning, and when I first started getting me fights, I didn't know any better. I didn't know anything about the sport of boxing. I'm the first boxer to come from my family, the first boxer to come from my gym. I didn't grow up with pros. I didn't grow up in the amateur ranks seeing how this goes. Didn't have managers telling me what to do or how these things work. So I just kind of been figuring out as I go. And, and it's gotten to the point, and I see where other fighters who are at the level that I'm at and have been at are treated differently. And, I just want to be treated fairly and to know what's going on with my career.
So, hopefully you won't be involved in any lawsuits or anything like that. I mean, you don't feel it's going in that direction, or do you, or what?
No, I mean, I hope not, but I mean, you never know. I don't think so, but everything. If like I said, if everything is just done the way it should be done, which should be fair, then there shouldn't be a problem.
Okay. Now, who are you sparring with to prepare for Errol Spence?
We've had a couple. I started in New York first. Had a couple of high-level amateur guys, couple recent pros, and we're bringing down a couple of people down to Florida. We got some guys that are coming up from down here in South Florida. There's a ton of good work. Cuban guys, high-level amateur guys, good backgrounds that are down here. Good southpaws. So we're getting a lot of different looks, a lot of different lefties. A lot of straight left hands.
Okay, that's good. Yeah, you're going to need to be working with them left-handers. That's no doubt, man. So, do you have any history with Errol Spence? I mean, did you run into him way before you guys talked about facing each other or anything? Got close to sparring with him, watched him spar, anything?
Honestly, I hadn't heard much about him before the fight even came about. To tell you the truth.
Interesting.
I hadn't seen much of him. Even in his pro fights, I really had the fight came up, and I was like, really? I'm like, all right, well, I guess I got to go look this guy up. He like I said, he hasn't fought any really named guys where I would have seen the fight, so kind of had to go check everything out. Really, I mean, his style was different than I even thought I had in my mind. I thought who he was, and I thought he had a certain style. I thought he was much more, of a boxer, but he's seems to be much more of a puncher from what I've been watching.
Yeah. Interesting, man. Well, we look forward to seeing it, man. Well, you know what? Matter of fact, before I let you go on that topic, or let me switch over, and I want to ask you, since you've been in the ring with Manny Pacquiao, what do you think about Pacquiao versus Bradley, man?
Okay, good. This fight's all about timing, and I don't mean timing within the ropes. I mean the timing of this fight actually occurring. It really depends on which Pacquiao comes into the ring. If he's still hungry, if his shoulder is healthy, and he's the Pacquiao of old, he's going to do exactly what he did the first two fights, and he'll win. I think he won both fights. But if there's ever a guy you don't want to fight when you're coming off of an injury or may not be in perfect shape, Tim Bradley's that guy. Tim Bradley's going to be in great shape. He's going to bring it. He's hungry. He wants this fight. He wants to, quote unquote, win the trilogy. So, he's going to be super hungry and he's going to be bringing it. But at the end of the day, it's really going to come down to which Pacquiao shows up.
So you don't believe...
That's a really difficult thing to say at this point.
So, Chris, you don't believe that Tim Bradley, he could just beat 100% Manny Pacquiao. You don't believe that he can beat him just with his skill. You believe the only way he will win is if Manny Pacquiao is not 100%. Is that correct?
Listen, anybody can beat anybody on any given night, but these guys have shared 24 rounds together, and for the most part, I think Manny won the vast majority of those rounds.
Mm-hmm.
So that being said, that since they shared so much ring time, it's kind of the writing's kind of on the wall there.
Mm-hmm. I want to ask you about your little twin, man, because every time I see him, I think it's you, Carl Frampton, man. Carl Frampton. Has anyone ever told you that, man? You look like Carl Frampton.
Yeah, been getting a lot of that actually. Recently, really over the past year or two, we went back and forth on Twitter a little bit. I told him that I was the taller, older, better-looking brother.
Yeah.
But yeah, we definitely do look alike sometimes.
Yeah, obviously, since you say you guys been, talking, your answer might be a little biased when I ask you this, but basically, Carl Frampton, after he beat Scott Quigg, they gave him an option to either fight Guillermo Rigondeaux next or give up his belt. He decided to give up the belt and move up to fight against Leo Santa Cruz. What's your take on that, man? And what does that basically imply, him doing something like that?
I didn't know that, but I mean, I'm sure there's always reasons for why fighters do what they do. It could have been a money thing, it could have been an opportunity thing. It could be they could see something in the Santa Cruz fight that they don't see for the style against Rigondeaux. But I mean, I don't know. I think in terms of fighting Rigondeaux at this point, it's probably a good move. The guy hasn't been super active. He's getting up there in age now. So the first time I beat him is going to be a big deal.
Absolutely, I totally agree. It just would seem to me, Chris, that if you have one of the pound-for-pound best fighters in the world in your division, I don't see why you would, at least fight him first before you move up. So that's why I wanted to ask you about that. So hey, Chris. Well, I know you got to go, man. I want to say thank you, man, for stopping by and talking about this fight. Once again, guys, you can see this fight on April 16th. It'll be at the Barclays Center in New York on PBC. Anything else you want to say to the fans, Chris?
No, actually, the fan support has been really fantastic. I really appreciate it. Everybody's really been coming out and really contacting me as much as possible. I appreciate that so much. Dontae, thank you for having me on. I always appreciate that. And like your man said, keep checking out my Instagram because I'm putting on some good food right now. I'm actually cooking it up. It'll be out in there in a couple of hours.
All right, man. Thanks again, man, and good luck on April 16th. We'll talk to you after the fight, hopefully, man.
Sounds good, guys. Thank you.
All right, take care, man. All right, guys. So that was Chris Algieri. It's a real good fight, man. Matter of fact, I would have loved to have gone out there and to watch this fight out there in New York. I'll definitely be out there probably sometime this year. I've never been to New York before, so I want to go watch and cover one of these big fights out there. So, we probably have to roll up there together one of these days or fly, out there one of these days.
Take over Oakland, take over New York.
The takeover is in full effect, Town Bizznizz. It's in full effect, man. So, he touched on a lot of stuff, and I want to go back to the Carl Frampton situation. And, it's crazy, E, because we had this debate with Ego and with Eric Morales, and guys, Eric, he pulled out. He said he was partying in Mexico. Yeah, I'm putting your business out, Eric. He said he was partying in Mexico, and his voice is all messed up. So, but I really wanted him to be on this show because we had this debate about Crawford versus Postol, right? And Ego, you remember what Eric Morales was saying? He was like, people are going to criticize him and they're going to blame this on Crawford if he doesn't fight against Postol. Now, I'm going to play a clip for you guys in a minute, but by way of contrast, I want to ask you, Ego, about this situation with Carl Frampton. Now, just like I asked Chris Algieri, Carl Frampton, he had an option to either fight pound for pound, top 3, top 5, one of the best fighters in the world, or give up his belt and go fight someone who's not even in the top 10 pound for pound list. So now, like I said, Eric Morales, he said that Crawford would be criticized. So my question is, should Carl Frampton be criticized even more for pulling a move like this?
Yeah, I mean, first of all, we didn't agree. I didn't agree with Crawford needs to be criticized to begin with on that situation for fighting a puncher. People were saying Crawford ain't never fought a puncher, and it's a different style. He's fighting guys that can switch to southpaw like himself, Hank Lundy, guys that used to fight at welterweight like Thomas Delorme, guys that are only once beaten with power, Thierry Jean. So if he were to fight Ruslan, I wouldn't have no problem with that. But yeah, Carl Frampton definitely needs to be criticized because he has now become the third person to evacuate the division to not fight Rigondeaux. Now, Dontae was the first. He actually fought him, though. But instead of chasing a rematch, he said, why should I rematch him? It doesn't make sense. You already seen me lose. And then he moved up and then fought bigger guys. He said he can't make the weight anymore. Fought Nicholas Walters, and then he got knocked out in like his third fight at feather or whatever, and he dropped back down. So I thought he couldn't make the weight. Then you had Leo Santa Cruz, who was being hounded and chased by Guillermo Rigondeaux. He didn't take the fight, and now he moved up to featherweight, took fights with Kiko Martinez, Abner, and then now you have Carl Frampton. Allegedly can't make weight now, so they know what Rigondeaux is. He's a problem. Leo Santa Cruz probably does have a bigger name, and it's a style that's probably more winnable, so that's why they're doing it.
Yeah, in Town, I want to ask.
Because realistically, he fought a guy that worked at Esurance or whatever on the Mayweather-Pacquiao undercard. Leo Santa Cruz did. He fought the State Farm.
Wasn't it Farmer? It was State Farm, wasn't it?
Nah, he was an Uber driver.
But they still won't get criticized the way Crawford would, though. They still won't be criticized.
And that's the point. And that was the point. Yeah.
No, but this is my point. He was on the Mayweather-Pacquiao card. He fought the guy from State Farm, Jake from State Farm or whatever, and he didn't even look that great in that fight. He had a war with Abner Mares. I thought he won. Some people thought Mares won. And then he beat Kiko Martinez, a guy called Frampton already knocked out and beat twice, and a guy that Scott Quigg, who Frampton just beat Kiko Martinez and stopped him. So both of them stopped him before Leo Santa Cruz, and then now that's the guy Frampton's facing. He's fighting the guy that beat the guy.
Backtrack. Who thought that Abner won that fight? Who thought that?
What you say?
Who thought that Abner beat Santa Cruz? What fight was they watching? Who thought that?
No, I'm just saying random comments. But either way, it wasn't a dominant. It was a competitive fight. That's my whole point.
I thought he pretty much opened up and kind of dominated.
Well, Mares himself said he thought he won the fight. So I'm just saying it was competitive.
Yeah,
either way, it was competitive. And Carl Frampton's fighting a guy whose best win is a Mares fight, which was extremely competitive. And he also just come off Kiko Martinez, who him and the guy he just beat, Scott Quigg, already stopped.
Yeah, and obviously, Town, like I was just saying, man, if you have pound for pound one of the best fighters in the world in your division, you got fans right now that's already trying to defend Carl Frampton. The same fans that were saying Crawford is cherry picking. And matter of fact, I got a clip for y'all to watch. Speaking on that, once again, I'm gonna play it in a minute.
As far as Postal goes, I know a lot of people, fight fans, wanted to know why didn't that fight happen. I know that Postal's team and him was saying that 50% of the table.
Listen to this.
All
listen
right.
to this.
All right.
We asked for that fight. They said they wanted 2 more fights or whatever the case may be. That's what I got word back.
Okay.
It wasn't no Postal calling Terrence Crawford out when Terrence Crawford didn't have no opponent. Everybody knew I didn't have no opponent and we was looking for an opponent. You didn't hear Team Postal saying, we'll fight him. But then when me and Hank Lundy signed the fight, that's when you hear, Team Postal, we would have fought Terrence this, Terrence that. It's all for show.
But Town, I want to ask you, man, why would fans defend Carl Frampton and say he's not ducking Rigo if he's moving up to a higher weight class to fight against Leo Santa Cruz?
Well, I mean, we pretty much know what it is. Just like, I battle with people on YouTube back and forth. Just like you had a couple of people a few weeks ago that were saying, well, now that Deontay Wilder is going to go
to Russia.
To Russia to fight Povetkin. They were saying, he wouldn't dare go across there. They were all set calling the dude a coward before the fight was even now, saying, he's a coward. He's not going to fight this dude. As soon as he agreed to go overseas and make the fight, then everybody has already got their excuses in place in case Wilder wins. Well, Povetkin wasn't that good anyway because he lost to Klitschko. I mean, I hear this shit all the time. So we already know what time it is. Mm-hmm. I guess, we know Ringo has been on the coincidental list for a long time. Yeah. As far as Frampton go, man, now it's funny. Now let Crawford have pulled this, or let Adrian Broner pull this with Theopan or something. They would have been saying he's a coward. He's no good. Like I say, we get this crap all the time, and I kind of get sick of it. Now, if we gonna criticize the darker fighters, shouldn't we criticize the lighter fighters? Because technically, isn't he doing the same thing? He's willing to give up a belt not to fight Ringo, but Dan Wilder never said that he was going to give up the belt not to fight Povetkin. What was people say? Wilder's a coward. He hasn't fought anybody. He isn't any good. He ain't shit. So we already know what time it is with this.
Yeah. Unfortunately,
Dontae.
Yeah, go ahead.
I just want to touch this up real quick. There's a misconception that if you move up and fight another what's considered to be tough fight, that you're not avoiding somebody else. Like people are saying that with Amir Khan. They're saying, he didn't duck Kell Brook to fight Canelo. But at the same time, there's different stakes. If he were to lose to a countryman and Kell Brook, that would be worse than losing to Canelo, because at least if you get knocked out by Canelo or lose to him completely, you could say, hey, that wasn't my weight class. I took the challenge, came up
he's
short.
Not expected to beat Canelo.
Versus Nate Diaz.
Yeah.
But
so he in a win-win situation. Go ahead, Eddie.
So Amir Khan, there was times where the Kell Brook fight presented itself. Eddie Hearn and Brook kept calling him out and trying to make it before he even knew he was fighting Canelo. So you can't omit that. Mm-hmm. He didn't duck the fight because he's now taking on another challenge in another division that's higher. I mean, same thing with Carl Frampton. Yeah, he's taking on Leo Santa Cruz, who's undefeated, volume puncher, but that doesn't change the fact that he had an opportunity. They both have the same nickname. They're both Jackals. And one of those jackals is going to lose. You know what I'm saying? So he probably would rather move up in weight and take a bigger money fight like Leo Santa Cruz than lose to the other jackal in your division.
Yeah, no doubt about it.
The money is not worth the risk fighting him. That's why they don't want to fight Rigondeaux. The money's not worth the risk. So they move up and they fight the bigger money. And I guess to them a smaller risk. That's why they don't want to fight him. It's obvious. That's why they've been avoiding him. Because his name just doesn't bring the money and the risk is too high.
But see,
that's why Nonito did not want to be that.
But they can't even use the money excuse Miss Boxing Baby because. But see, Rigo at one point was the highest paid bantamweight in the world. He was the highest paid.
Now, that's not the. But right now, that's not the issue. And Santa Cruz right now has the name. You know, the money's there. I think he should have fought Ricky out, but I understand why he didn't. That's why he didn't.
Yeah, but
at the end of the day, you say it all the time. Boxing is a business, so he's gonna move up. Fight somebody he probably feels the easier way, and it's more money, and that's just that. And he won't get criticized.
Yeah, oh no, he definitely see this is the whole thing, and that's the main thing. He will not get criticized for this. But see, the whole thing is, well, we really know what time it is. The bottom line is these fans, they don't want to see him lose. They don't want to see Frampton lose to Guillermo Rigondeaux. Yeah, and let me correct that. When I say they don't want him to lose, they don't care if he lose. They just don't want him to lose to Guillermo Rigondeaux, someone on the coincidental list. Yeah. They don't care if they don't care who lose if he fights against Leo Santa Cruz. They don't care who lose. As far as the fans see it, that's basically a win-win situation. But they do not want to see any of these guys lose to somebody on the coincidental list because they've been hurt before, and these fans right now, they're basically saying never again. You know what I mean? They don't want to feel that pain of Dontae losing and damn near getting his face broken by Guillermo Rigondeaux. They don't want to feel that anymore. So they're going to basically sit over here, call Rigo boring, try to make him as irrelevant as possible. That's why it's important that we don't feed into that kind of stuff. You know, we can't feed into basically saying that, Rigo is irrelevant and, there really is no money there, because that's what they want all of us to say. So you just completely forget about Rigo. He becomes extremely irrelevant and he becomes, a modern day fighter on the Black Murderers Row, which is a list of fighters that never got any opportunities to fight against the names because everyone tried to ignore them and sweep them under the rug. And that's what they're doing. That's what they're doing with all the fighters at 154 when it comes to Demetrius Andrade, the Charlo brothers. All of these guys should be fighting against Canelo Alvarez, but you notice no fans are talking about it. No boxing writers are talking about it. Dan Rafael ain't asking about it. Right? They're trying to keep these guys as irrelevant as possible, And
the guy in the studio said it. It's the racism.
Town Bizznizz.
He's basically saying the guy in the studio, the lighter fighters don't get it. If I say this, I'm gonna get all the backlash because I'm a woman. I shouldn't be saying this, but I'm gonna say it anyway. It's the racism in boxing. It's the double standard. You know that's what it is. Crawford to get criticized all day long for doing the same thing that they say Carl Frampton is doing, and they won't say anything because that's just the way it is, and it's been that way, and it's going to keep being that way.
Absolutely.
And our job is to basically, put out the awareness.